Hello and a warm welcome to This Week by latestlaws.com. This is a weekly program, so hit the bell icon to get notification for new videos. My name is Sheetal Joon, Associate Editor, latestlaws.com, and let's begin with Supreme Court this week. This week, dismissing a public interest litigation filed against Bihar CM Nitish Kumar seeking his ouster over his party's recent alliance with Rashtriya Janata Dal (RJD), the Supreme Court observed that post-poll alliance is allowed under anti-defection law and 10th schedule of the Constitution of India, subject to some conditions. The Janata Dal United (JDU), currently headed by Nitish Kumar, won the 2020 Assembly polls in alliance with the BJP and later switched the same, pointing to which the petitioner alleged that he played fraud on the electorate by aligning himself with the opposition post-election, and his reappointment was in complete violation of different provisions of Constitution. Noting that granting bail is not parallel to running a disciplinary inquiry, the Supreme Court has observed that cancellation of bail cannot be ordered merely for any perceived indiscipline on part of the accused before granting bail. The division bench of Justice Dinesh Maheshwari and Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, in this view, allowed appeal against High Court order wherein it suo motu cancelled the bail granted to the appellant on ground that the trial court had not adverted to a relevant fact that the accused was absconding and was arrested only later. The Supreme Court, in the matter of heinous rape and murder of a minor girl in Kathua region of Jammu and Kashmir in 2018, has allowed the appeal of the state and rejected the juvenility claim of the accused on the ground of medical report. The division bench of Justice Ajay Rastogi and Justice J.B. Parthiwala observed that if there is no cogent and convincing documentary evidence on record as regard the date of birth or age of the accused on the date of the alleged crime, then there is no good reason to not look into or ignore the medical report prepared by the Special Medical Board put on record. The Supreme Court, while upholding the principal-agent relationship between the airlines and the agents, has held that the airlines are liable to deduct TDS on the supplementary commissions that are earned by the agents. It has been opined that if the agents have already paid income tax on such income, then the airlines cannot be held liable for TDS, but the revenue can charge interest for the period for the date of default to the date of payment of tax by the agents. The Apex Court, in an interim order, stayed the controversial judgment of the Bombay High Court, which prohibited feeding stray dogs in public spaces, among a slew of other directions regarding the issues of stray dogs. The court agreed with the Animal Welfare Board that there may be other consequences if stray dogs are not treated well, as on not getting food they may turn aggressive or violent. Noting that there is no bar for someone who is pursuing higher studies to start a business, the Supreme Court upheld the eviction order on the ground that landlord's son wanting to start a business while studying falls under Bonafide requirements and needs. The Supreme Court has sought Election Commission of India's response on petitions seeking a ban on use of names and symbols with religious connotation by any political party. Additionally, the petition sought stricter implementation of certain specific provisions of Representation of People's Act 1951 that particularly prohibits luring voters via promotion of enmity, hatred among different classes and religion of societies. Next we have Delhi High Court. The Delhi High Court, with view to check whether media exaggerated report in the Delhi excise policy matter, has directed the ED, CBI to furnish all public statements and press communications to the media on behalf of them pertaining to investigation in the Delhi excise policy matter. The division bench observed that while agencies are well within their rights to issue press communications, the reporting should be factual based on the release only. The Delhi High Court has remarked that the intention of the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act was to protect children below the age of 18 years from sexual exploitation, and that is never meant to criminalize consensual romantic relationships between young adults. The division bench of the Delhi High Court has held that in the absence of the complete cross-examination of the prosecutrix, her deposition cannot be read in evidence and used against the accused. The single-judge bench of the Delhi High Court has held that for the purpose of interpreting a decree when its terms are ambiguous, the executing officer would certainly be entitled to look into the pleading and the judgment. The Delhi High Court has held that if the delay in joining by the candidates is attributed to the appointing authorities, the appointee cannot be deprived of his or her seniority and consequential benefits. In relief to famous basmati rice brand Dawat, the Delhi High Court has granted permanent injunction against Raipur-based manufacturer and seller selling rice under replica name and thus held it guilty of trademark infringement. The single judge bench of Justice Pratibha M. Singh awarded Dawat 25 lakh in compensation and noted that customers are being misled in deliberate and dishonest manner by the defendant. Now let's have an overview of other high courts. The single judge bench of the Karnataka High Court has held that proceedings under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act cannot be initiated against the wife for dishonor of the cheque issued by her husband. The Punjab and Haryana High Court, comprising of a bench of Justice Arun Monga, while dealing with the writ petition against denial of compassionate appointment, observed that compassionate appointment should not be treated as a reservation of any kind. The Bombay High Court has ordered for fresh testing of Johnson & Johnson's baby powder samples and permitted the company to manufacture the product at its own risk but to not sell them, as per the Maharashtra government order. The Kerala High Court, while refusing to quash complaints under the Negotiable Instrument Act, opined that if notice is issued in a different language and could not be delivered because of that, the same would not be a ground to quash the complaints. It is a matter of the evidence and therefore the complainant would get an opportunity to prove that the notice was proper under Section 138B of the Act. Moving on to miscellaneous news. The Centre and RBI has defended the 2016 demonetization policy in Supreme Court, saying that it was a critical step in a series of transformational economic policies which helped to not only combat the menace of counterfeit currencies, terror financing, black money and tax evasion, but also nudge largest section of the informal economy to become part of the formal economy. The Gujarat High Court has quizzed the state government in the tragic Morbi Bridge collapse matter and sought to know as to how the Morbi municipality, without floating a tender, awarded the contract to maintain the suspension of the bridge that collapsed on October 31st, killing 135 people. A 5-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court has appointed senior lawyer P.S. Patwalia as amicus curiae to assist in examining whether an MP or MLA can claim immunity from criminal prosecution for taking bribe to make a speech or vote in the Legislative Assembly or Parliament. State of Tamil Nadu, under leadership of M.K. Stalin, has passed a resolution to file a review petition against the Supreme Court verdict that upheld the 10% EWS reservation in government jobs with a 3-2 majority. It is their view that the EWS reservation is against social justice and equality and contrary to social justice policy. A 38-year-old woman in a writ petition before the Supreme Court has challenged a rule of the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Act 2021 which mandated the consent of the husband in case a married woman wanted to go for intrauterine insemination with donor sperm. The Supreme Court has consented to list petition challenging the recent notification issued under the Electoral Bond Scheme, allowing an additional period of 15 days for the sale of electoral bonds in the year of general elections to the legislative assemblies of states and union territories with legislature. Terming forced religious conversion a very serious issue, the Supreme Court on Monday asked the centre to step in and make sincere efforts to check the practice. It also warned that a difficult situation will emerge if forced religious conversion are not stopped. Highlighting that people holding public office are getting away with making disparaging remarks with no mechanism to check such behavior, the Supreme Court has agreed to admit petition questioning whether statement by minister inconsistent with rights of citizens is constitutional tort. A Delhi court has extended the police custody of Aftab Poonawalla for the next 5 days in case of gruesome murder of his girlfriend Shraddha Walker. The court also allowed the police application seeking permission for the narco test of the accused. In the end, we have international news. The UK-based Indian origin billionaire family Hinduja brothers, who were locked in a legal dispute in the High Court in England over the family assets, have reached a confidential agreement. A court in Tehran has issued the first death sentence to a person involving in Iran's ongoing protest over killing of Masha Amini and handed out prison terms for several others. A row has erupted in Spain after it emerged that a landmark law to toughen penalties for sex crimes is being used by lawyers to reduce clients' existing sentences. The United States had determined that Saudi Arabia's de facto leader, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has immunity from a lawsuit filed by the murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi's fiancée. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. This is a weekly program, and to get more information, please check the description box. And for weekly updates, like and subscribe to our channel.